hideous faces that just rob him of just any ounce of attractiveness.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's good, Council of Comics? We're talking The Rings of Power, Episode 8, Season Finale. No. Yes. Season Finale. 8.
It is episode 8?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's only so far you can go with 750 million.
Yes. Let's go.
Yeah. Shout out to Madness. Yeah. Rogue Nation 845. Bro.
So, we got our season finale.
It was amazing.
I thought it was really good. I agree with you. Go talking to some Tolkien fans and readers of the books. They're not so happy.
I'm sorry. The lore is a little bit vague and also, very dense writing and so they meander around the written word. I mean, I'm not mad.
Yeah. They've changed some things according to the lore. They've shrunk some things according to the lore. But we start off with those 3 mysterious people.
Yes.
They're looking for the Sky Man who fell out of the sky.
Well, they have him now.
They have him.
And they believe he's Sauron.
And they call him Sauron. And I was looking at the screen. I said, Cliff was right. And
you know what? As soon as they started calling him Sauron, I was like, "Oh, I'm not right." I was like, we're gonna start the episode like this. So I'm like, oh, where are we going?
Yeah, because it kind of it gave you all these feelings of, oh man, I thought this guy was good. He was helping. He's gonna turn out to be Sauron, and that's just horrible.
Yo, I just love that the effects budget went wild in this episode.
Yes, very, very good. So these people have revealed that they're servants of Sauron, and they've been waiting for his return, and they're trying to awaken him to remember who he was. How does he get out of it? Let's stick to that, and then we'll go.
Well,
blah, blah, blah.
What are they called? The Harfoots.
The Harfoots.
The Harfoots decide to go find them, as we found in the last episode. They made the decision.
Mm-hmm.
So when they catch up to him, these 3 witches are really kind of putting him through the business because they're just basically trying to bully him into remembering he's Sauron.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Lift this veil that's on you, make you forget who you are.
Yeah.
And so the Harfoots come to his aid, but they start hurting the Harfoots, and that's when he's just like, I am good.
Yeah, he's gonna have his last good moment before he becomes Sauron. You know what I mean? And I feel bad for the Harfoots. I was like, oh man, they're going to save him. Little do they know who they're saving here. You know what I mean? But turns out that he saves the Harfoots.
Yep. He actually. I love how he grabs the scepter of one of the witches, or whatever the. I'm calling it scepter. That's not the right thing.
Staff.
The staff. I love how he grabs the staff and uses it to banish them. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, you see full glory of the Starman. They still don't give him a name.
Yeah. But at this point, I'm convinced it's Gandalf now.
Right. Then we go over to Elrond and the elves. And
right, because he needs to be healed. Galadriel brought him to be healed.
He's all healed up, and they're trying to figure out how to create the rings because they figure out the mithril doesn't want to really connect with the other minerals or whatever they have, blah, blah, blah.
Well, no, it will, but the other ones weaken it. So he magically wakes up just in time to meet, what's his name? Celebrimbor. Celebrimbor. It's like, oh, you're the Celebrimbor? Oh, my goodness. Yeah. What if you fastened it with metals that made it stronger?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yes.
And it should be circular, like a crown. And then he starts saying stuff that gives away.
Yeah.
That he's
Doesn't he
Sauron.
say a line, though, consider it a gift?
Yes.
Yeah, he says, so consider it a gift. So he gives them the idea of how to make the rings.
Yeah, he also says that line about power over man. And then
when he says the flesh.
Of the flesh, right?
Power of the flesh. Galadriel looks at him like...
Well, she looks at Celebrimbor and she's like, did you say that?
Yeah.
Right? And he goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure I said it. And she's like, what? And then that's when she's like, what's up? That's when she's like, I gotta go find this dude. And
That's when I thought Celebrimbor was Sauron.
I didn't.
I was like, Cliff was right.
I didn't at that point. I didn't for a second because I was like, no, damn it, it's Halbrand. So she gets one of the elves to go and dig up all the research she can on the human bloodline, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
She finds out
they're all dead.
They're all dead. There's a break.
Yep.
But it's not what they think it is. And I thought it was a masterful moment where Halbrand reveals who he is just by the way they're talking. And he's just basically telling her, look, I didn't want to come here. You brought me here.
You healed me.
You healed me.
He's like, and everyone will remember it was you.
Yeah. And she realizes that Halbrand is Sauron. And my mind was,
yo,
I was right.
The visual effect was so good. Right,
yeah.
when he's like they're on the mental plane and he's using the image of her brother to convince her that he's right, and then they're on that raft and the camera turns over the raft and in the reflection of the water you see like him as Sauron and her as like the full power Galadriel. That was like crazy.
I like the actor's like slight smile.
Yes,
when he's starting to tell her about it.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this dude is totally Sauron. And then you see it in his eye. If you'll miss it if you don't see it, because Kamaria missed it. She's like, I didn't see it. I was like, he had the eyes. He had the eyes like Sauron. And she's like, oh. So he basically leaves.
Well, after his mental assault on Galadriel, he's gone.
He leaves.
And then Elrond is the one who saves her from drowning.
Yeah.
And then she's like, how do I know you're real? Tell me something only you would know.
Yeah. He says, we met, blah, blah, blah.
He tells her about how when I was but an orphan. Right, and that is something like deep and personal that only he would know. That's how she knows she's back to reality.
Yeah. So she takes Elrond. They run back to Celebrimbor, who
is ready to make a ring.
Is ready to make the ring, but she says it cannot be two. It's got to divide itself. It has to be three.
Yeah. 1 is all power corrupts.
Yeah.
2, it would divide. 3, there's balance.
Yeah, and so you start to see the creation. They figure it out and they create
the 3 elven rings.
But Galadriel has yet to reveal to the rest of the crew that she knows that Halbrand is Sauron. Elrond, being suspicious, goes back to where he saved her and finds the scroll that has the information on it. Doesn't say he's figured it out.
No, but the lineage. He's like, oh, the lineage is wrong, so therefore that guy isn't who he said he was.
Yeah. Oh, man, Halbrand, he's like, I didn't want to be king, remember? You wanted me to be the king.
Yeah, that final scene, crazy.
Yeah. And then you see a final shot of Halbrand walking into Mordor.
Yep, he's got the black cloak on. He pulls the hood down. You see his face as he marches into Mordor. And I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah. So, and then that's the end. Phenomenal season for a person who has not read the books and being a Lord of the Rings fan. Like, I immediately watched Fellowship right after that. And it's such a smooth, like, they're made the same, honestly. The way they talk, the music, everything is just so linked. We did miss one part. The Starman, it says that he was not Sauron, but he's an Ishtar.
Oh, they call him an Ishtar. The Wishes call him an Ishtar.
Yeah.
And when the Harfoot asked him, what does that mean? He goes, your people call it wise man or wizard. As soon as he says that, I'm like, this is Gandalf.
Has to be Gandalf. But this was a question that I had because in the Lord of the Rings movies, Gandalf doesn't really mention a lot about fighting Sauron. You know what I mean? So is he involved in the fight?
I don't think he's directly involved.
So it's going to be another storyline then.
Right, like I feel like it's one of those things. Remember how even in the end of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, there's stuff happening everywhere, but it all comes together with the defeat of Sauron.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we're gonna get here. There's these other stories taking place at the same time that will help bring about the end of this age.
Yes.
On a positive note.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I like about the show. Like I keep calling it like romantic fantasy. There's hope, right? They're all fighting for the good, right? So like
and a family, like the touching scene when what's her name? Poppy? No, the other one.
Oh yeah, her friend, the Harfoot, who's like, you can't.
Kind of like the sidekick to
yes.
Starman. She leaves the family. The family encourages her to leave and go with him. The Starman asks her if she wants to come, and she's like, "Nah, I've had too much adventure." Then she goes back home, and they basically tell her, "You need to go with him."
Right, like it's clear.
Yeah.
Everything has been building to this. You were right all along, and
Yeah.
maybe you need to go to him. And then when that's over, you come back to us.
Yeah. So I'm making a prediction that they are going to find the place that will become the Shire.
Possibly.
She'll be the founding person.
Right, she'll be the founder.
She'll bring the others over there. Like, I found a place
that we don't have to travel. We can live here.
Yeah, and then they'll become the hobbits.
That'll be really cool.
Yeah.
I like that for them.
Yeah. So that's season 1.
Oh my God, the king of Numenor.
Oh, there was something to lead us to season 2.
Like so crazy, but it's so good.
Who was it? The daughter of the general.
The
daughter of the general.
Right, because he selected several girls.
She goes up to the king and he's blabbling. He's like, "You have to see what
and he opens his secret door.
He opens the secret door
to his orb.
She goes there and I think it's called a palatine, or something like that. And he says, "You got to see what I have seen."
Yeah, and we've seen them in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
And she looks at it, but we don't see
what she sees. Right, but whatever it is, she's definitely going to be a main character in season 2 because she's going to see something that's going to set her on a journey. I'm just excited knowing that it's just this ominous moment. She's going to see something wild.
Yeah.
And she's either going to be on a quest of pure madness, oh no, Sauron has to win because I saw it, or it's going to be one of those things of there's only one way to do this. We have to follow a plan.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm thrilled.
I expect season 2 to be about the dwarves' rings. They get 7 of them, right?
Yep.
They're gonna make 7 rings for these dwarves, and I think season 3 will be the 9 for the men. But yeah,
and then the one ring.
The one to rule them all. So overall, I give this series, I give it a 9.
I want to give it a 9.
A high 9.
I'm leaning towards 8 because there was some slowness there, but it is really beautiful. I just don't know how beautiful it is and how much I like the actors bounces out the progress that I had trouble with. Even still, 8 is wonderful. I'm not gonna feel bad about 8. You know, it's still oh my God, please watch this. And if you have trouble getting through the first episode, hang in there.
Yeah. So that's our review for the Rings of Power season 1. It's another review of a show in the books. We'll come back for season 2, whenever that is, next year or 2 years from now. But in the meanwhile, leave your comments below. I'll try to make a playlist for this so you can watch all our reviews in one shot. Be on the lookout for other shows because we're doing real good with the reviews. People are liking our reviews. So
thank you to the 12 of you in the 40+ crowd. We really appreciate you.
Yes, we thank you for everything. So for myself
and me,
Cliff, and the rest of the Council of Comics, and this guy right here, he's very important. See that guy right there? He's very important. His name is Steve Desario. He's one of the greatest artists I've ever met in my life. You got to give him credit. You got to give him his due. He's the man.
And also, I gotta beat him and lash him until he produces my print for Toys for Tots. So that's good.
Excellent.
I look forward to it.
Thank you guys. Peace.
Bro.